Hi, it's your favourite Yorkshire demo here. This is Suzanne at hullahbaloo.com, and today I've got an alternative project to the one that I filmed live on my Facebook on Friday. So on Friday you will have seen a similar box to this one. So this one is the same dimensions as Friday's box. The only difference being I have made this one from cardstock and DSP and not just DSP. So the base of it is the same dimensions at 2 3/4 square, and then as it comes up it domes, it tapers out ever so slightly, as you can see. Really good size, and it's been suggested since I'd filmed Friday's live that it could house a bath bomb, which is a very good suggestion. You might want to use the card version for it just to get a bit of a sturdier base for a bath bomb, because they can be a little bit weightier than sweets and treats. Okay, so this one I made using Magenta Madness, and I used the, what's this paper called? It's called Artistry Blooms, of course it is. So this is the Artistry Blooms paper, and I've used obviously a pattern that goes with the Magenta Madness ribbon. This time I'm going to try a combination I haven't tried yet. So this is the same pack of paper, just a different piece. And so we've got Bumblebee cardstock this time. So what you will need is 2 pieces of DSP, they're 6.5 by 2 3/4, and then you'll need 2 pieces of card that's 6.5 but by 3 1/4. And we're going to score these first, so I'll just pop them out of the way and grab my scoreboard. So starting with the DSP pieces, and you want them on the longer side, you want to score each of these at 2 3/4. You want to put them back onto the short side, and at 1 3/8 we want to score down to the 1 3/8 point, so just a partial score like so. And then you should get, like it's yours here, I don't know if you can see it because of the light, so you should have a partial score there and then a full score across near the bottom. So you do that on both DSP pieces, so 2 3/4, 1 3/8 down to the 1 3/8 mark. Now I'm just eyeballing. You could put a piece of card against that marker or a ruler to be more exact. On your card pieces you want to do the same at 2 3/4 on the long side, like so. But because these are wider, we need to go to 1 5/8 at the top, but still only down to the 1 3/8 point, just so that we get all our bits the same. And then same for this one, 2 3/4 on the long side, 1 5/8 down to the 1 3/8 marker, like so. That is all our scoring. Pop this away. Well, that is all our scoring with the scoreboard. What we now need to do, oh no, apologies, I've missed a score line. On the short side of your card pieces, you need to score at 1/4 inch and at 3. Apologies, I forgot that bit there. So at 1/4 and at 3. There we go. Right, now that's all the scoring with your scoreboard. What we now want to do is on all 4 pieces, where we had the partial score line here, we want to join the bottom of this partial score line up to this first score here, not to the corner of the card but to the corner of the score line here. So we'll draw a triangle there, triangle up there, and then you'll have a triangle with its middle line. On the paper pieces you want to go from the bottom of that line and you want to go to the corner of the DSP. So I'll show you. I'm using a bone folder for my straight line, but a steel ruler would be far better. There's one, then from the other direction and then you'll get that kind of pattern there. So you'll see our middle line has now got a score line to that first score line, and then up to this one as well. Repeat that on the other card piece. The same on the other side. And then on the designer series paper, it's up to the corner of the actual piece of paper, like so. And again. So in my box the other day, I used the Snowflake Splendor paper. Today I've gone with quite the opposite, and I've gone with like a really sunny piece. Okay, so with our 4 pieces, we need to burnish these bottom lines, making sure the DSP's straight as we do that. And then that's all we need to do to the 2 DSP pieces. We can pop them to one side. On the card pieces, we need to score that middle line first. We then need to grab our scissors. We want to take the bottom half of this thin strip on either side away. And as I take that away, I'm going to slightly angle cut it, like so, on both sides. And then you're left with this. And then we can fold those little, score and burnish those at the top. And then that's your card piece. I'll show you how to do it one more time on this one. So, burnish the bottom, trim up to that score line on these 1/4 inch side pieces, like so. Angle cut them off. And then we can fold these 1/4 inch pieces in and get them burnished. Right, and there's one more piece of cutting before we can bring the box together. So as you can see on this one, I've put my gorgeous DSP at the front and I've put my card at the sides, which means these are going to be side flaps for the base. So because they're side flaps, we don't need all of it. So we're going to angle cut these card wedge bottoms like so, and then take a bit off the end, and then that's what we're left with. Same on this one. Oh, not the paper. We're going to wedge it on each side, just this square bit at the bottom, and then we're going to take a piece off like so. Then you're left with that. Right, okay, so now we're ready, and what we're going to do is going to piece it all together like so. Before I do, I want to quickly just nip these score lines so that when we come to pull the box together, it does it quite naturally for us. So just nip along them, and then I like to bring the lines together like so, make sure they meet, and nip on the inside. Same on the paper ones, just nip those lines, bring them together, and on the underneath here, just nip there, pinch them together. Last one, so along the lines, meet them together, and on the underneath, just pinch that little piece. Right, okay, so the adhesive I am using to bring these together is tear and tape, and that's because I've got a little bit more control over where it goes on such a skinny piece. If you're in the US and you're using the 11.5 cardstock, you could get away with keeping a bit more on these, because you can get 4 strips out of a piece of card otherwise. Right, so there's one. As you can see, it's ever slightly too big. I'll show you how to manage that in a moment. So I'll put another one here. And then we'll do these two on here as well. Love tearing tape just because of literally you can tear the tape. I used to use double-sided tape that you had to cut, and it just gets really tiresome when you're making lots of something to be sat there cutting it all the time. And then with the, I've got the piercing tool part of my take your pick tool. Just going to get under that top layer and take it up. Now, as you can probably see here, it's just slightly too big, so I'm just going to press it onto itself like so, and then it becomes the right size for that flap. So with one flap and it's layer taken off, we're going to get the DSP piece. I'm going to match up the top there like so, match near the bottom, and then press that down. And then as you add the DSP on, you need to re-burnish a line like so. And there we go. We then need to do the same on the other side. We'll take off the top piece. Again, it's too big, so we'll fold it back on itself like so. And then we get another piece of the DSP, line that up to the top along that scar line, and then press down like so. Again, just giving it another burnish as you've added the DSP. Then on our final card piece, take that top layer off again like so. Too big again, so again fold it back on itself. I love how you can do this with tearing tape. And then line up this final, well, it's not the final edge, it's the final loose edge to the top of the DSP along that scar line and press. And again, burnish like so. And then you can take the top layer from the tearing tape like so, and then again, because it's too big, bring it back on itself like so. And this time you should just be able to fold them round, make sure they line up, and press. And there we are. We've got the beginnings of our box. So what we want to do now, before we even think about bringing these in, is we want to pop our holes for our ribbon. Now this is retired, but any hole punch will do. This is 1/8 of an inch, so if you've got something like a crocodile, or you've got your own handheld punches, or anything that can make a hole, worst comes to the worst, you can pop a piercing tool through there and just make the hole as wide as you need it. But you need to, where the two edges of card and paper meet, where the triangle intersects, we need to go in there and just a little bit in like so, and that'll be our ribbon hole. And we want to do it on all parts where the card and the DSP join, so there'll be 4 holes in total like so. Last one, there we go. So that's our holes. We want to just give this a tease as before we bring the base together. There we go. Okay, so now I need to decide which of the DSP panels I want as my front, and they're both pretty much similar, but I think I prefer that one. So then we bring the sides in, the back, and we put some more adhesive here, so I'm going to use tearing tape again. I'm just going to make sure I've got a piece as close to the front as I can, like so. And then we'll put one more down here. You can of course put even more on this. I'm just using the 2 so that you're not sat watching me fiddle all afternoon. there's 1 and 2. And then to bring it together, make sure your box is nice and squared off. Bring the other piece over and seal. And then if we poke these edges in, because we coerced them previously, they should come in nice and tidy, which they do. Look at that. I actually really like that. So because the card's Bumblebee, I've got the matching Bumblebee ribbon, which is the same kind of ribbon that the magenta one was. So this is the 2020 to 2022 in colour ribbon, of course in Bumblebee, Magenta Madness. You can also get it in cinnamon cider, Just Jade and Misty Moonlight. So you get a good combination of colours. So I'm just going to cut a bit of a pointy edge there. And then wherever the front was, so the front's there, we need to go in from the outside through the right hand hole, like so. And then thread this out through the back right hand hole, making sure your ribbon doesn't twist on the way. And then we're back in on the back left hole. And when I can get it lined up, there we go. And then as you can see, it rags the ribbon a bit, so you need to make sure you've got enough that you can cut that off at the end. And then back out through the front left, like so. And the great thing about using DSP is that the inside has also got a nice pattern too. Right, okay, so pull that a bit more. So as you pull them, you'll see that it brings them together. And then I'm just going to make sure this bit's got a bit more, so I can cut that jagged edge off. And then as we knot it, we can close that hole up, like so. And then tie a lovely bow. She says it's got about 1,000 twists in it. Oh well, let's do that again. So, bow, take that round, pop that through, try not to twist the ribbon. Make them loops a little bigger because I love them big on a box like this. And there we are, we'll trim those off. And then I haven't decorated these ones. And the other day I simply put a tag on them. So you could do the same. If you want to see how I decorated my other version, you can of course pop across to, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's the video I previously submitted on Saturday. If you are on my blog, you can read the Facebook live catch-up post, which was on Saturday as well. And I'll show you how I decorated those ones. But these are the alternative. So these are DSP and card. The other version was just DSP. I hope you like them. Which version do you like best? I'm not quite sure. I think I prefer the yellow because it's got a bit of a... I love the ombre to the purple. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.